Welcome to piano class. This is our Young Artist 1 class, and this is lesson 16. We're going to start class today by turning in our books to page 42. This is our expressive singing song, I Got a Shoe, that we started last week. Remember, this is an African American spiritual that we would tap on beats 2 and beats 4 instead of 1 and 3. Let's also take a minute and think about our dynamics. What would you think this song would be? Would it be a soft song or more of a loud song? Probably more of a loud song. This is kind of a more joyous song. And so let's start with perhaps a mezzo forte. And if you think about the chorus when we sing heaven, then keep going up, heaven, heaven. Usually when our melody is ascending or getting higher, we tend to start singing louder, and we usually have a crescendo there. So let's try that as we sing through it this time. Getting louder as we go higher. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I got a shoe, you got a shoe, all God's children got shoes. When I get to heaven, gonna put on my shoes, I'm gonna walk all over God's heaven. Get louder, heaven, heaven. Ending. So that is one way that we can use our dynamics to emphasize what's going on in the song. Let's turn now to page 46 to Fox and the Goose. This is our comping song. And remember, we also, when we're comping, need to be singing our melody. So let's practice singing our Fox and the Goose melody. First time through, we're going to sing the words. And the second time through, we're going to sing the solfege. If you have a rhythm instrument that you'd like to play, you could. We sing, Fox, you stole our goose last night. You picked the fattest one. Picked the fattest one. Now the hunter's gone to get you with his horse and gun, gun, gun. Now the hunter's gone to get you with his horse and gun. Solfege. So, la, ti, do, re, 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 mi, do, so, mi, re. Mi, do, so, mi, re. Re, do, 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 ti, 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 la, do, fi, so, ti, re. Re, do, 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 ti, 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 la, do, fi, so. I have to double check myself on those. That's singing that solfege pretty fast. So let's go to our keyboards now and let's look at the chords for the Fox and the Goose. Remember, we have our G chord, which is our key signature chord, our D7, which is our kissy chord, then our D, which is our down chord, and then our C, which is our up chord. Remember, D7 and D are pretty much interchangeable, but do try to use both of the chords in the song, D or D7, and then the next time you might use a D7 instead of a D. All right, so let's go ahead and decide what would we do for an intro. There is one intro that always works, and that is using one measure of your root chord, which is G, and one measure of your 7 chord. So I could do this. Fox, you stole our goose last night. You could also do the ending, and the ending in this case would be D7 and then the G. So either way, G, then the D7, or the D7 and then the G, you could reverse. One thing that I do want to point out about intros, the point of an intro is to tell your singer how fast you're going to be playing and to let them know what pitch to come in on, and also when to play. If I just keep playing my rhythm variation, they have no idea when to come in. So a good tip for your intro is you need to hold your 2nd chord. Now we know, Fox, you stole our goose last night. So don't just keep playing your rhythm, hold to let your singer know now is the time to start singing. All right, I'm going to play it with just a G and a D7 like this. And we sing, fox, you stole our goose last night. You picked the fattest one, picked the fattest one. Now the hunter's gone to get you with his horse and gun, gun, gun. Now the hunter's gone to get you with his horse and gun. So I was doing pretty much variation number 2, left, right, 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 left, right, right, right. At the end, I did one measure of variation 3, left, right, right, left. You don't have to do the same variation all the way through. You could also, when you get to 1, you could hold. Picked the fattest one and hold. Picked the fattest one and hold. So if you want to do some of those rhythm variations in the middle of the song, you could do that as well. We are going to be passing this one off next week. Be sure that you are practicing the singing and that you have an intro so that you know when to start singing. Let's turn to Rainy Day Blues, page 44. Now this one is also on our list to be passed off next week. If you need to take an extra week with Rainy Day Blues, that's fine too. We have another week of pass-offs where we'll just be doing our partner songs, and so those are pretty easy. We are going to play slowly through it, but let's do our right hand first on the B section. Be sure that you are fingering it correctly. 1, 2, play and say. Mi, do, me, do, rest. Mi, do, ti, te, rest. Mi, do, me, do, fi, so. Big hold. Now move to fa position. La, fa, la, fa, rest. La, fa, mi, me, rest. Mi, do, me, re, do. Move to so. Go. So, ti, re, fa, la, do. Mi, do, me, re, do. Half dot, rest. All right. Let's try it very slowly all the way through. 1, 2, slowly play. Do, mi, so, la, te, la, so, mi, re, so, la, te, la, so, mi, do, fa, re, mi, do, la, so, la, te, la, so, so, ti, re, fa, la, do, do, mi, so, la, te, move your right hand. Mi, do, ti, te. Mi, do, fi, so. La, fa, mi, me. Mi, do, mi, re, do. Half dot, left. So, ti, re. Fa, la, do. Mi, do, mi, re, do. Mi, do. Rest. You can slow down just a little bit on the end. A retardando there would not be out of place. We don't have any dynamics on Rainy Day Blues. So you're going to add your own dynamics. Where do you think it should be soft? Where do you think it should be loud? Where would you want to write in maybe a crescendo with lines that get bigger, or a diminuendo with lines that get smaller? You might want to start loud, in soft. You might want to start soft and in loud. But go ahead and think about how you would like to play the dynamics and write those in with your pencil, and then be sure that you color them if you want to, or write them in colored pencil so that you pay attention to them and practice them this week with dynamics. Let's take a break from our keyboards, and you can go do this at a table if you'd like. We're going to turn in our books to the very back where we have staff paper. And grab your pencil. The things that you're going to draw on your staff paper are a treble clef. Don't worry if it's not a beautiful treble clef. We just need to know that these are treble clef notes. And then you're going to draw a 4/4 time signature. We're going to do a melodic dictation again. And remember, that means I will play a melody and you will dictate it or write it down. I'm going to play 2 measures of 4/4 time. I will play a chord at the beginning to let you know about what the pitches that I will be starting on, or give you an idea of what pitch I'll be starting on. I will be playing in the key of C, so you can probably imagine what your first note will be. I will be using quarter notes and whole notes for my rhythm. So write the correct notes and the correct rhythm. Now I'm going to play what I'd like for you to write. This is a C chord. And I will play 1, 2, write this down. I'll play it again. It goes like this. So if you need to, listen to it again. You can rewind. If you are still working on writing in the notes, pause the video. And here is the answer. I'll hold it up a little closer. So what I played was a C chord, and then I played do, mi, so, mi, do, big whole note. So that is our melodic dictation. I hope you were listening closely and got that correct. Let's go back to our keyboards now and open our books to page 50. We've learned the right hand for Bluebird and Little Red Wagon. Today we're going to look at Tin Little Indians, and let's clap our rhythm. 1 and 2 and clap and chant. Ton, ta ta ton, ta ta ton, ta 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 ton. Ton, ta ta ton, ta ta ton, ta 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 ton. Ta 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 ton, ta ta ton, ta 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 ton. Ton, ta 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 ton. Great big whole note. All right, and let's point and sing our notes. Now remember, we were in the key of F, so we do have te instead of T. 1, 2, point and sing. Fa, 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 la, do, do, la, la, fa. 5 on so, 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 mi, mi, do. Fa, 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 la, do, do, la, la, fa. Do, te, te, la, la, so, fa. So we have 2 different hand positions. We're going to start with our thumb on fa. Right here, we're going to jump to do position and put 5 on the so and play the notes of a C chord. Then we're going to go back to our fa position and play the rest in F. So let's play through it. 1, 2, start on fa. Fa, 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 la, do, do, la, la, fa. So, 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 mi, mi, do. Fa, 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 la, do, do, la, la, fa. Do, te, te, la, la, so, fa, big whole note. Now, what do you think the chord progressions would be for the bass clef? Yes, they're going to be the same that we did in the Bluebird and the Little Red Wagon. They all have the same chord progression, which is what makes them partner songs. So you could try a different variation for this one. Number 4 might be interesting. You're playing fa, do, 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 fa, do, do, do. And for the C7 on this one, you could go mi, do, 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 mi, do. And you could leave off the te. So you could go. Or you could do the te there. Whatever you choose, be sure to write in your left-hand part. You might do a different one for each one. Whole notes, half notes, broken chord on one of them. But write in your left-hand part using the notes of the chord that go in each measure. Let's play through Bluebird and let's play half notes on our chords. 1, 2, ready, go. Let's play through Little Red Wagon and let's try playing a broken chord. Variation 2. 1, 2, little slower, go. Little red wagon painted blue. So, 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 me, so, so, take, blah, 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 Now I played the same variation through the whole little song. Again, if you want to change your variation and do some measures broken and some measures blocked, you could, something like this. So you can change your variations as you go through as well. It's time to get out our binders. Week 15, we are passing off our sight reading this week. So be sure to send me video of you playing your sight reading. Watch your chords and watch your F sharps. Be sure that you're playing that F sharp in there. And also be sure to play slowly. It doesn't have to be fast. So we could play about this tempo. Gives you a chance to really think about that kissy chord and getting that fingering correct on that. All right, our theory we did together in class, so that should already be done. Let's turn to week 16 now and see what we're going to transpose our sight reading to. G major. We were just playing it in E minor, and now we're going to transpose to G major. Believe it, we will still have the same key signature. G sharp, G major also has the F sharp. So let's put our hand in so position. And this will sound much happier. We're going to start on, when we played it in E position, we started on finger 3. So in so position, we're also going to start on finger 3, which is the T. So let's start on T and sing our intervals. 1, ready, go. T up a third stays the same, down a third, down a second, up a second, up a second, down a second, up a second. Stays the same, up a third, stays the same, down a third, down a second, up a second, down a second, down a second. So we don't have too many intervals to worry about. My G chord is going to be snowman, so T re, and then my kissy, fi do re. So putting that together in G major should be fairly easy. We're going to go to our board and do our theory assignment. For our theory assignment this week, this is similar to what we did last week on the board. They gave us a C scale, and we're just going to write a triad above each note. Bass clef and treble clef. They did the first one for you, so that's pretty explanatory, self-explanatory. And remember to just draw your notes carefully. Make sure that your space notes stay in the spaces above this space note, line notes on the lines, and just draw them in carefully so that you can read them. We're going to take a minute and review some of the composing techniques that we have learned. The first one that we have learned is to do a repeated pattern. So if I had a do, mi, for instance, as part of my melody My repeated pattern would be simply to play the same thing. Do, mi, mi. That would be a repeated pattern. And you can easily do that. If you listen to music, you hear lots of repeated patterns. Now, if I were going to do a reverse pattern, do, mi, mi, I would reverse and play do, mi, 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 do. And that sounds pretty good as well. We could also do a rhythm variation. Instead of do, mi, mi, I could do a repeated pattern, but with a rhythm variation and go eighth notes on my mi's instead of quarter notes on my mi's. And I could do them like this. Do, mi, mi, do, mi, 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 or just do, mi, mi, mi. So a rhythm variation is another way to take something that we've already done and just make it a little bit different. We could also do a sequence pattern. What is a sequence pattern? This is the one that we tend to forget the most. A sequence pattern means that we're going to do the same rhythm and the same interval pattern, but we're going to start on a different note. So if my first melody is do, mi, mi, my sequence pattern would be re, fa, fa. Do you see how now I'm playing the same interval? Do up a third stays the same, re up a third stays the same. So this one is a sequence. And we see these in composing frequently. So repeated patterns, reverse patterns, sequence patterns, and rhythm variations are all things that we can use to write our own music. We are going to be doing a blues song. If you turn in your book to page 48, we have a creative composer number 2. And right here we have our blues scale. Do, me, fa, fi, so, te, do. These are the notes in the C major blues scale. You'll notice it's not do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do. That's a major. This is our blues scale. It's a little more minor. And our assignment for this week is simply to write 2 or 3 motifs. What is a motif? This is a motif. Just a short little segment of music that we're going to then build upon to write our song. So instead of doing do, mi, mi, if I were doing a blues song, you can see that I could use do, me, me, and put flat signs next to my mi's, and that would be a blues motif. Do, me, me instead of do, mi, mi. I could also just pick 2 or 3 notes from the top. Do, te, so, so, te, do. That would be a motif with a reverse pattern. So just pick some of these notes, 2 or 3 or 4 of these notes, and write a little motif in these measures. You could also do them repeated. I could go do, do, me, me, and do a 2 8th note pattern. So think about an interesting rhythm pattern that would make it sound kind of bluesy. And write those in at these 3 measures here. We'll work on it week by week and just add to it. We're not going to do everything in one week. So just for this week, sit around on your keyboard, play around with these notes, and come up with a few motifs that you can write in on the middle line. Remember, our bass clef blues pattern is C, 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 F, F, C, C, G, F, C, C, which is exactly what we played in our blues song that's in our book as well. Let's run through our flashcard challenge. I have all 34 notes stacked up here, and I have my timer set for 1 minute. And remember, now that we're in Young Artists, we are saying the letter names instead of the solfege names. So I'm going to hit start. And I'm going to say the note names and see if you can say them as fast as me or faster. Here we go. C, C, A, B, G, D, B, F, C, D, B, A, D, D, G, C, F, E, E, G, E, D, right above two-letter line, E, A, F, B, A, C, B, G, C, F, E, and A. 6 seconds left. So you can see you have to say them pretty quickly to get through all 34. My suggestion is, if you knew this one, put it in one stack. If there was one you didn't know, put that in another stack. And then work on the ones that you don't know until you can say them as well as the others, and then try the whole stack again. So that will do it for our class today, Young Artist 1, Class 16. Our pass-off for this week is our sight reading, so be sure and send me a video of that. Next week we have 2 pass-offs, our comping song, The Fox and the Goose, and also our Rainy Day Blues solo. If you need some extra time for the Rainy Day Blues and want to pass it off later, that's fine as well. Because the week after that, our last pass-off is going to be our partner songs, and those are pretty simple compared to Rainy Day Blues. Remember your flashcard challenge, and also be going all the way back through your book. Go back to the beginning of your book and start playing those solos again to decide what you'd like to play for your recital, and also what solo you would like to play for festival, which will be week 19. We will talk a little bit more about festival next week. So be preparing just by learning your songs really well. Thanks for joining me, and we will see you next week.